installments of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. 4 reviews up this week. Let's see. The first of which is a game called Radio Viscera. Like, maybe not an entire misnomer, but it's a lot less disgusting than the name would give credit to.
If it involves viscera, it definitely sounds disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, viscera is fucking organs and, you know, the inedible organs at that. If you live in this country. But, yeah. Radio Viscera is a top-down twin-stick shooter. Like, and the whole Radio Viscera thing is, first of all, like I'm trying to remember if it's like the thing that you're fighting against or the thing that you're joining is Radio Viscera. It's like, I don't think that was explained all that well. At least I will preface this by saying my reviewing of this is kind of limited in scope because I ran into some fatal error while playing this game. I got through the first stage, could not. Once it got to the next stage, it would not load. It kept crashing, and I have no idea why. Now it's like restarting, reload, clean install. Nothing fixed that. So I could not tell you. Thankfully, we got 2 codes of this, and you should be seeing Petty playing it. So he'll be assisting me with this.
Yup.
I did play enough to get a good sense of, it's a twin stick shooter. It's pretty simple as far as gaming genres and conventions go. So this is actually one of the more complicated twin stick shooters I've ever played. That's solely due to how you dispatch enemies. See, instead of, just killing them with bullets or equivalent thereof, you got more of an air rifle, air pressure gauge, something that bounces around your enemies rather than directly kills them. And your ultimate goal is to get them into booby traps, like deadly blade saws. That's kind of where the whole viscera thing comes into. They get grind up in very pointy objects. So it's basically adding an extra step to the whole proceedings, which admittedly is a fairly fresh take on the genre, but it's like it does add some clunkiness to it because, you kind of have to aim them into a thing. And if they don't get into that thing, they're not dead. So it takes a bit of finessing. And the air pump is not the most elegant of weapons. It works. It's fine. But, I don't think it's as amazing as the developers thought it was from what I could play. I'm not sure how that evolved, past the first level, and especially boss encounters and whatever twists they might have. Unfortunate. Petty Finn, what about you? How far did you get in the game?
I got a few levels in.
Okay. And
I don't remember anything that really counts as a boss encounter, though.
Okay. And what are your impressions of the game?
It's fine, but because of the camera angle, it's a bit hard to navigate.
Yeah. I can see that. I didn't have too much of a problem with that. Now, also, this game makes a big tout about its destructible environments.
Yep.
It's really proud of its destructible walls. Yep.
But it is specific types of walls that can only be destroyed.
Yeah, this is some Red Faction stuff right here.
Red Faction, Battlefield 3.
Not really special to have some walls be destrucible.
Well, that's kind of what they're hiding behind the gimmick. And this is why I cite Red Faction. It's like completely destructible environments, and you get except for metal walls. And wouldn't you know, it turns out there's a lot of metal walls around.
Metal walls, even slightly thicker stone walls.
Basically, shit's not as destructible as you might think. Mind you, that's something that they got corrected in future Red Faction titles. Looking at you, Red Faction Gorilla. But that's neither here nor there. And it's definitely the same here. It's like you can destroy the white walls, and that's it. Like okay. I'm not exactly sure what the selling point is here. Is it because you're a top-down twin stick shooter? Is it because you're an indie title? Because we've had destructible environments for a long time now, and yeah, I guess they're not used all that often. But it doesn't come across as anything more than a gimmick in this game. Like, okay, I can shoot the white walls. Good for it. That's really all I got about that. As it's like also in defiance of twin stick shooter tropes, you can jump in this game, and the jumping isn't really good.
No.
Thankfully, at least from what I played, they didn't make me do any actual platforming, because that probably would have been a deal breaker.
There's a little bit of rudimentary platforming, but nothing that would drive you insane.
Yeah, it's like you do have to jump to the next level, but you're not doing actual platforming challenges, which is fine because jumping isn't really the point of this game. It's it's basically reenacting a toned down version of, say, Mad World. If anyone else played that.
Not so much.
That was the Platinum Games title on the Wii, where it was black and white, very bloody. Had a lot of trap mechanics like this, although a lot more in the way of trap mechanics. Now, this really only had the bus on stage 1. As far as collectibles, there are a few. There are pirate radio stations found via pillars.
Now, how do you collect those?
You find the pillar and you get the radio frequency.
Okay, so you're collecting the frequency? More
or less. They don't identify it as such. They identify it as a station, but it's the transmission.
Because, I was gonna say, because you can't really possess a radio station unless you literally take it over.
Yeah, because another thing I haven't really gone into, but it's a major part of the game. This is a black comedy. It's very postmodern satire. Like, it's very. If you're not familiar with postmodernism, the opening joke is your suit got ruptured or tainted, and it tells you in a very charming manner to jump in the acid so that the suit may be repaired. And that's basically what sets you off on your grand rebellion.
Yeah, because they're basically going to send what's left of you into your family in a commiseration flask.
Yeah. Like I said, this is very postmodern comedy. It's maybe a bit hard to describe unless you see it, but it's filing under the pornography rule, I guess. But when you see it, you know it, and this is it. And how much you enjoy it, I don't know. I can enjoy that to a certain degree, though sometimes it can get obnoxious. I wouldn't say it got that here, at least not from what I saw, because it's not everything is a reference. Everything is glib. Everything is irony. That kind of attitude. That mainly comes in with the broadcast of the Master Controller, whatever the fuck they called that. The main voice on the oppressive governmental waves or whatever. Insert evil Big Brother figure here. So outside of that, yeah, it's fairly conventional in terms of aesthetics and combat outside of the stuff outlined before. Music's in that zone though, like very, for lack of a better term, indie game, like that specific pitch of indie gamer, lo-fi beats you can work to, or what, it's like,
Lo-fi
it's not
beats
bad.
you can kill your coworkers too.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like, it's good stuff. Not really something I would pursue independent of the game, but it's good enough. Like I said, and the other collectible are outfits, accessories, and a thing I didn't really have a chance to experiment with are mutators. That's, like it says, that adds a random thing to your game. Like I said, I was just so frustrated with the whole thing that I didn't come back to it because, fatal errors. I know, Petty, did you have a chance to try out the mutators?
I did not.
Yeah. Apologies on that front. And let's see, pricing. So the game clocks in at $20. That might be a mite steep for a twin stick shooter. I mean, clearly this has got a bit more in terms of aesthetics and productions than a lot of twin stick shooters, but it's still a twin stick shooter. Paying $20, and it's not as robust to say.
I couldn't even afford a third stick, man.
Well, it's also.
I'm kidding.
It's also not as robust as, say, The Ascent, which just came out this past week, and that's a twin stick shooter that everyone's raving about. Like I said, it's got a hook. I just don't think that hook is strong enough to justify $20. Maybe 15. I think 15 is the most I'd go on this. What about you, Petty?
Probably about there, yeah.
Yeah. As a game, as a twin stick shooter, I'd actually rate this slightly above average, but no more. Like I said, it's doing something different in the genre that I can respect that. Like I said, I don't think it came together in a particularly compelling fashion, but it's still okay. You got something there gameplay wise, and your aesthetical values honestly are a bit more derivative on the indie circuit. This kind of metatextual snark of postmodernism. I've seen it in quite a few indie titles. You're not really breaking ground there, unfortunately. And once again, it's like it's fine, but I don't think it rises above the level of marginally interesting. And really, I think that's the overall summation I have for this game. Marginally interesting, which is why I wasn't too torn up with not having to play more of it. What about you, Petty? Anything further you wish to add to the proceedings?
Not really. It's kind of interesting, but at the same time, you've also played better twin stick shooters for the show, so.
Yeah. Like, well, so it goes. I said. Anyway, so that'll about do it for Radio Viscera. Be sure to tune in after the break, as well. Petty is going to be reviewing Golf Around.